So we're going to start tonight's class with some guided breath work. But before we do that, I don't know about you, if you're ever having a day where you're just feeling in a tizzy or just have a lot more going on than you're used to, and your body and mind can't seem to slow down and concentrate enough to drop right into meditation. It's almost near impossible just to start closing your eyes and meditating, even if you're well practiced. So what we're going to do before we even get into some of the guided breath work tonight is we're going to start moving our energy a little bit by taking our hands and making contact with our body. And this is so important right now, especially considering the fact that we're still in these pandemic times, and human contact, physical human contact, has definitely taken a dip. So we're starting class this way because I can't share with you enough how important it is, even your own healthy human contact, how nurturing that could be for your body. So we're going to start by taking your legs out in front of you. Now, if you have issues with your hips and low back, and you want to take a pillow and have a seat on it to lift your hips up over the rest of your legs, please do that if you need to, okay? Now, we're going to be following the flow of the meridians in the body. The meridians are what acupuncturists follow in Chinese medicine, and there's an actual flow to them. And when our body's in balance, the inside of the leg, the meridians there flow up towards our hips, and then the outer legs flow down towards our feet. So we're going to encourage the flow of our meridians in our legs by taking the palm of your hands down to your feet, as close to your feet as you can get it, and just brush up to your hips. Now we're going to take our hands to the outer legs and brush down towards our feet. Let's do that a few times, brushing up the middle of our legs, moving our energy out, down towards our feet. One more time with a nice smooth brush up and a nice smooth brush down. And now with a very loose floppy wrist, just gently pat your way up and pat your way down the outer legs. I'm going to show you one more time. I do have another student coming in, so let me let them in. Keep going with this pattern. Now make sure your wrists are nice and loose. You don't want to hit yourself with a hard wrist because you're actually going to hurt yourself if you do that. Oh, they left. Okay. Great. Pat down. Wonderful. Now we're going to do the same thing with our arms. One hand to one arm on the thumb side, going up towards your armpit, and then take your hand to your other side, thumb side, going up towards your armpit. Nice brush up. And just let this touch and this contact nurture you. One more time, nice brush up. And now we're going to brush down the outer arm towards the pinky finger. And when you get to the pinky finger, imagine taking any energy there and just wiping it off, shaking it out. And let's go the other side. This is just making sure that your energy is flowing in the right direction so you don't get clogged up. Great. One more time each side. Good. And let's do the same loose wrist pat. So you're going to go thumb side up to your armpit and switch arms. Anytime you're doing this loose pat, it's just energizing your system a little bit, not energizing to the point where you're going to have a bunch of energy at the end of the night, but just more to balance out your energy and not deplete you. Sometimes we get really depleted at the end of the day. Now let's go out the outer arm down towards our pinky finger. Nice loose pats, great. And heads up. Those of you that have been in class with me before know I sometimes go over about 5-10 minutes the most and shake out your hands. If that's the case and you need to leave right at 7:30, I suggest you set an alarm just to make your way out because I might go over a few minutes tonight. So now we're going to get ourselves into a comfortable seated position, whether that's simple cross-legged by your ankles or both shins resting flat on the floor. If you're warmed up enough to do half lotus or even full lotus, which I'm not warmed up to do, go into a position that's most suitable for you. And from here, let's take the palm of our hands down into our knees. And let's take some nice big hip circles from one side to the other. Getting some synovial fluid moving in our hips. This is going to help us stay more comfortable in a seated position. And let's go the other way. Good. And bring yourself back to neutral, just gently rocking from side to side so you feel both sits bones making contact with the floor one side at a time, or the pillow beneath you. And bring yourself back to center. Now we're going to take some very slow, easy head circles going one way. Nice and easy. Letting your brain be nice and soft as your head moves around. And let's go the other way. Just introducing some real gentle movement, getting our attention to start tuning inward and onto our bodies, then away from the earlier part of our day. And bring your head to neutral. Now, if you feel like you need some grounding, keep your hands on your knees. Otherwise, if you feel like you need some more nurturing energy tonight, take one hand to your lower belly and one hand to your sternum and heart area. Wherever your hands are, either gently bring your gaze down to a singular point in front of you. And while you're keeping your eyes open, you're turning your attention inward. Otherwise, if you're comfortable, go ahead and fully close your eyes. We're going to do a complete breathing exercise where we're going to breathe in for 5 counts and we're going to exhale for 5 counts to help focus our mind. As you breathe into your lower belly, then your rib cage and chest, fill those areas up with air. As you exhale out, allow your belly, rib cage, and chest to fall closer into your spine. So after your exhale, you're going to breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Breathe in, focus, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last time, breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Breathing normal. Let your breath return to its natural pace. And if your eyes are fully closed, slowly open them, keeping your gaze downward. And everyone, bring your gaze slowly upward in front of you. If you're seated on a pillow or a bolster, please remove that from under your hips and just uncross your legs for a moment and just shake your legs out from side to side. Perhaps give your arms a little bit of a shake. And we're going to make our way to our hands and knees. If you have sensitive knees, please take a folded blanket and place them underneath. And when you're here, on your inhale, you're going to rock forward towards the top of your head, exhale back towards your hips. Inhale forward, exhale back, moving at your own pace and rhythm, aligning your breath with movement. Breathing in forward, exhaling back. One more time. And bring yourself, after your exhale, back to neutral. After your inhale, exhale, curl your head and tail in. As you inhale, head and tail moving at the same time up towards the ceiling. Exhale, curling in. Inhale, extending up. 2 more times. Exhale, curling in. Make sure your elbows are not hyperextended. Inhale, opening up. And one more time. Exhale, curling in. Inhale, looking up. And coming back to neutral. Bring your hands a little closer to each other towards the left and take your right foot to the outside of your right hand. Now, it doesn't have to be a large lunge. What we're going to do is we're going to take some nice wide hip circles to the right. Just getting some more synovial fluid into our joints, into our hips. And let's go the other way. Now, mind you, this is a beginner intermediate class where I'm going to be just sharing more of the English terminology tonight, and more advanced classes we get into the actual Sanskrit language, just for you to be aware. Now, once you're satisfied with your hip circles, let's bring our right knee back, and you're going to reach your right arm up towards the ceiling, looking up at it. Take your fingertips on the right hand and thread it through in between your left arm and body. So you're creating a nice twist in your upper body for a moment. If you can, rest your head on the floor. If that's not available to you, just lift your head off the floor and go as far as you're able. And take a moment, really breathe into where you feel the twist. Ideally, your mid-back, upper back. After your next exhale, inhale, unwind, reach your right arm back up to the ceiling, and bring your hand back down to the floor. Stepping your hands over to the right, left foot to the outer left hand, and let's hip circle out to the left. Make sure you're breathing into your hips. Imagine releasing tension out as you breathe out. Let's reverse the circle. Go to where your body is able to feel an opening, but not too much force or pain. And come back to neutral, bringing your left knee back to your right. Bring your hands back to neutral. Reach your left arm up as you inhale. Thread your arm through as you exhale. If you're able to rest your head on the floor, please do so. Sending your breath into the area that is twisting, unwinding, detoxifying. Let the breath open this area up, and as you exhale out, release any tension present. After your next exhale, inhale, unwind, and reach your arm up to the ceiling. And replace your hand back down, shoulder width apart. Now from here, inhale. As you exhale, reach your hips back to child's pose, reaching your forehead to the floor. Inhale, come up to your hands and knees. As you exhale, tuck your toes under, lift your hips up to downward facing dog. We're going to stay here for a few moments. If you need to walk your knees, bending one knee at a time, please do so. While you're doing that, reach your tailbone and hips up to the ceiling, the top of the head to the floor. Making sure there's space in between your shoulders and your ears. And if you're walking your feet, reach both heels now towards the floor beneath you. Reaching through the corners of your feet and the balls of the feet and your heels. After your exhale, inhale, come back to your hands and knees. Exhale, hips back, child's pose. Inhale, hands and knees. Exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips up to downward facing dog. Inhale, hands and knees. Exhale, hips back, child's pose. Inhale, hands and knees. Exhale, tuck your toes under, lift your hips up to downward facing dog. Inhale, hands and knees. Now this time as you exhale, step your right foot in between your hands. And from here, I want you to sink your hips down towards the floor to where you first start to feel an opening and a stretch in the front of the left hip and a possible increase in the flexion of your right hip. Go to where you first start to feel the opening. Now, as we're staying in this asana and in this pose, allow your breath as you exhale to let your body naturally sink further into the stretch without force. So you want to feel enough of an opening in your hips without pain. Now, if you feel that your individual body needs more, you can place your hands onto your right knee, or if you wish to place your elbows on the floor beneath you, you may also do that as well. Listen to your body, feel out what it needs. This is not a competition. This is about you developing a deeper relationship and a deeper understanding of what your body needs in this moment in time. Whichever position your hands are in, make sure you're reaching out through your tailbone and out through the crown of your head. So as you inhale, you're lengthening, and as you exhale, you're sinking deeper. After your exhale, inhale, slowly ease your way out of this. Come to your hands and knees. And reach your hips back to child's pose. Inhale, come back up to your hands and knees. Step your left foot through this time. And make your way to where you first start to feel the opening in the front of the right hip and the deepening of the crease in the left. And your hand positions, once again, keep both hands on either side of your front leg. One or both hands onto your left knee, or both forearms on the floor in front of you. Go to what feels most supportive to your body. And as you inhale, lengthen through the crown of your head and out through your tailbone. Exhale, sinking deeper. Slowly breathing in, softly breathing out. After your exhale, bring your hands down to the floor on either side of your leg if they're not there, and bring your knees back alongside one another. Inhale in tabletop pose here. Exhale down to child's pose. Inhale, hands and knees. Exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips up to downward facing dog. From here, slightly bend your knees and step your right foot forward in between your hands. You're going to be about 3 to 4 feet apart between your feet, and as much as you can, extend your legs. They might have a slight bend in them. That's okay. We're going to rest here for a few moments. Now, if your hands are having trouble reaching the floor, you can place your hands on the shin and or foot in front of you. If you need support, if you have yoga blocks, you can place them alongside you. Or if your hands are able to make your way down to the floor, you may do so here. Once again, go to where you first start to feel the opening. And as you breathe in, lengthen through the top of your head and tailbone. As you exhale out, allow your body, leading from your heart, to stretch over your leg. Slowly breathing in, softly breathing out. Anytime we do a forward fold, that really helps quiet the mind and soften the body. So those are great to do at the end of a long day. After your exhale, Inhale, slowly lift your upper body. Bring a slight bend into both of your knees, palms flat on the floor. Make your way back to downward facing dog. And let's stay here for a moment. After your exhale, step your left foot forward. Slightly bend your knees to do so. And place your hands either on your leg in front of you, on supportive blocks or books alongside of you, or on the floor next to you. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, deepen over your front leg. Allow your upper body to sink closer to your leg in front of you. And as you breathe in, allow the breath to travel to the back of your left leg. Allow the oxygen you're breathing in to soften and nourish that tissue. Exhaling out, releasing any tension that you no longer wish to carry. After your exhale, inhale, lengthen up, slightly bend your knees, placing your palms flat on the floor. Go back to downward facing dog. I'm gonna do one more vinyasa. So after your exhale, inhale, come to your hands and knees. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, hands and knees. Exhale, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Now from here, we're gonna walk our hands back to our feet. Now, it doesn't matter if your hands are touching the floor or on your legs. Take a micro bend in your knees if you need to. Otherwise, extend through your hips up towards the ceiling, reaching over the balls of your feet. So make sure your weight is not placed on your heels behind you. Letting the top of your head drop down towards the floor. Uttasana. After your exhale, slightly bend your knees. And we're going to take some micro bounces with our knees as our chest rests over our thighs. Allowing the tissues in your back, shoulders, and neck to soften each time you bounce. Now, this is not traditional yoga. This is some myofascial rebounding just to help open up our tissues a little bit. And slowly bring your bounces to a close. And gently start to bend your knees down to make your way down to the floor. And let's have a seat. Bringing your feet, the soles of your feet together. You can either have your feet a little further out in front of you, or if you feel comfortable bringing them closer to your body, go to where your body is calling for your feet to be right now. And gently rocking from side to side. And make sure both sits bones are on the floor. Now from here, holding on to your shins, your ankles, or your feet, inhale, reach up through the top of your head. Exhale, slowly, leading from your heart, make your way forward. And go to where you first start to feel the asana stretching and opening you. So that might not be very far at all. And if you have to take your hands out in front of you for support, please do so. But you want to go to where you first start to feel the opening. And the longer we're here, the more your tissue starts to let go. If your body lets you, then start to deepen and stretch further. We're going to be here for a minute or two. So take your time with this. Ease your way into this posture. My yoga mentor, Soothe Weixler, always says this is not a competition. This is about you honoring your body where it's at in this moment. So please approach this pose with kindness. Go to where your body feels like it wants you to pause and breathe. And as you breathe in this posture and as you exhale, Allow your body to sink further if it's willing to without force. You will receive wonderful benefit from practicing this way. Stay here for one more round of breath. So on your own time, breathing in nice and deep, slowly exhaling out. After your exhale, as you inhale, slowly make your way up to a seated position, rolling up vertebra by vertebra through your spine. And take your hands to your knees, bring your knees together. Now this is where your pile of pillows can come in. We're gonna go into a seated V position. If you wish to use some pillows for support, you may do so. Otherwise, you can use your own hands. Reaching out strongly through your heels, lifting up through the crown of your head. Inhale, and as you exhale, slowly lead with your chest going forward to once again where your body wants you to pause. Thank you, Lori. And we're going to be here for a minute or so. So breathe into where you're feeling the opening, continuing to reach strongly through your heels, lengthening up to the crown of your head as you inhale. As you exhale, if your body lets you, slowly sink further. We are opening our liver meridian that is on the inside of the legs here. And the liver meridian in Chinese medicine governs our soft tissue. And a lot of times the liver meridian has a lot of work to do. So anytime we can address and stretch and open up our inner thighs here, the liver meridian loves that. And in essence, will have a beneficial effect on the rest of the soft tissue in our body. So we're going to stay here for another few moments, really being mindful of how far your body is willing to go this evening without force. Also being mindful that your shoulders are softening down your back and not hiking up to your ears. Slowly breathing in, softly breathing out. After your exhale, slowly take your hands on the floor in front of you and walk your way back as you roll up through your spine. If you have pillows, please bring them off to the side and bring one leg next to each other and let's shake them out for a moment. From here, we're going to make our way down to our backs. So with your knees bent, slowly roll down through your spine. And feet hip distance apart, close to your sits bones, palms of your hands down towards the floor. As you inhale, breathe in and reach to the crown of your head. Exhale, slowly allow your lower back to make contact with the floor beneath you. And as you inhale next time, slowly start to bring your hips up towards the ceiling into bridge pose. Letting the circulation move through our internal organs. Pressing strongly down through your feet. Making sure there's no undue pressure in your neck. Palms down on the floor next to you. This is not going to be our fullest bridge since we're at the end of the evening. As you inhale, lift your hips a little further up and exhale, slowly roll down through your spine. Once your spine is on the floor, extend one leg up towards the ceiling to reverse the flow of circulation in our legs, reaching up strongly through your heels. Just take a moment here to rest. After your exhale, inhale, step 1 foot down at a time. And take your feet out just a little bit further than hip distance apart, bringing your arms out to the side in a cross position. And once you're there, if you can, bend your elbows at either 120 degrees or 90 degrees. And let's let our knees just windshield wipe from side to side. Now, the goal is not to get your knees all the way down to the floor at this moment in time. We're just opening up our hips a little further, introducing a very gentle twist. After your inhale, exhale, let your knees fall to the right side as you start to gaze over your left shoulder. Making sure both shoulder blades are in contact with the floor as your knees are spilling over to one side. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, allow the twist to deepen. After your exhale, inhale, slightly engage your lower abdominals to bring your knees back up to center. And let's windshield wipe again, from left to right or right to left. After your inhale, exhale, let your knees fall to the other side, gazing over your right shoulder. Lengthening through your spinal column as you inhale, increasing the twist as you exhale. Allowing your tissue to melt into the floor beneath you. After your exhale, inhale, engage your lower abdominals to bring your knees back to center. And step your feet in, hip distance apart, bringing your hands down by your sides. Just gently wag your tail from side to side, giving it a little bit of a release. Now from here, we're going to make our way into Savasana, which is our final resting pose. If you have low back, hip, or knee pain, I suggest placing a bolster or a pillow underneath your knees. Otherwise, if you know you're comfortable laying with your legs flat on the floor with your toes slightly outward, palms facing upward, get yourself into the most comfortable Savasana you could be in. And let's gently rotate our head from side to side, releasing any remaining tension that might be in our head and neck. Bring yourself back to center. Slowly observing and scanning your body from toes, your legs, your hips, your torso and chest, shoulders and arms, neck, head, and face. As you're resting here, allow yourself to let go as much as you're able to, trusting that the floor beneath you is supporting you fully. Allow this posture to restore your body and all of its systems. Allowing your tissue to melt and sink deeper into the floor beneath you. And allow your mind to melt as well. Off you go. I will gently call you back momentarily when it's time to close out class. But for now, Just allow your body time to melt, time to release, and time to restore in this final resting pose for the evening. And slowly bring your attention back to your breath. When you're ready, start to begin wiggling your fingers and toes. Bring some movement into your ankles and wrists. And giving your body a nice full body stretch, reaching your arms up above you, feet extending below you. And one knee at a time, bringing them into your chest, gently and easily rocking from side to side, massaging your lower back. And from there, make your way all the way to one side. Let yourself sink in there for a moment. And keeping your eyes closed, gently make your way up to a seated posture. Bringing one hand to your lower belly and one hand to your chest heart space. Before we bow to one another, take a moment with your hands making contact with your body. Give your body a dose of gratitude. Give yourself a dose of gratitude for taking time to be here. And when you feel complete with that, you can bring your hands together in front of your heart. Thank you so much for taking time to do yoga with me tonight. May this class nourish you, and I wish you a wonderful evening. Namaste.